Hi, ZY. This is a letter from the current you to the future you 1 years later. First of all, congratulations on completing the compassion class, where you learn about first of all meditation, second of all self compassion, and third of all compassion towards the common humanity. And then I know it's just a difficult choice for you to engage in a subject that is completely new to you. And then I want to congratulate you on your progress so far made. And then this letter is just for you to remember what you're currently experiencing. And by reading at your term papers just 10 minutes ago, you can definitely see that recording and then making a line of things can definitely help you in the future. So here we go. There are several questions to address for the final quarter reflections, and then I'll pick one of them and then talk about my current feelings on each one. First of all, for meditation, which practice were the most useful and why? I actually find out that walking my roommate's dog or my dog Fermi on a day-to-day basis or just playing with him turns out to be a pretty good meditation. It is one of the moments where I can concentrate only on the present, not on other things. And then for me become my default image whenever I try to focus my meditation practice on a project. And then second of all, walking him is sort of like a walking meditation where you feel the rhythm of his movement, you feel that his needs to get closer with nature, and then you also feel your own feet touching the grounds, and it's sort of like what we have learned in walking meditation. For me, will go with your roommate after graduation, but I want you to remember the closeness and the sense of relaxation that you feel by walking him in the current day. And then I definitely encourage you to make that as a habit, as you discussed with your classmates in the last session. Keeping that as a habit could be extremely helpful for your future meditation practice, just maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes before your sleep, which can prove to be extremely helpful. I know you have already downloaded an app called Calm. Make sure you want to use it. So second is the from off cushion practice. What is an example of an off cushion learning you had this quarter? I think that by talking with my significant other, my girlfriend, definitely helped me to one have my future goals and my learnings and then my needs for compassion more clear, and then to having a person to speak to and then to exchange ideas about a project or about the future goals where your life is going to end together is definitely so helpful. And then I'm glad that not only did you receive help from her, but also you extend your help and your compassion towards her as well. So that is definitely something you should keep in mind and then continue to do in the future life that you're going to share together. And keep in mind that she sacrificed a lot for extending this compassion to you. And then it's not obligation, but then you definitely feel very happy to do the same for her as well. And then from in-class exercises, what is one example you find the most useful? The one I find the most useful is to imagine my life after 30 years. I imagine myself to be living in a very sunny house where sunshine can just spread on your face, and then you are watching a good movie or a TV series with your girlfriend together. She will be your wife back then. And then you realize that a lot of struggles these days, currently, such as jobs and then location choices, level of education, even for your kids, because there will be going away from home by 30 years later. So it really keeps reminds you of what is actually most important to you and how you would envision your life to be like in the future. I think that's definitely super helpful for you to make sure that you're on the right track and then to focus on the important things. And then from in-class presentation of research and readings, I would encourage you to do two things. One is to elaborate more on the common humanity part. This is the part you had a little bit of trouble with, and then it's not just because the concept itself. I think you have grasped the concept pretty well by now, but then making sure that you understand other people suffering a little bit similar things as you do, it's something you can connect to. Currently, it seems that feeling others' pain is still a little bit challenging for you. I think that's partly because you can attribute that to your educational background, partly because you can still make a training out of it, and then to practice more on feeling and then helping others. I think that's gonna help you in the way for future compassion practices. And then the second thing from the class is that you realize that even in the retreat itself, compassion practice definitely help you to relieve uh, release your your stress, and then become more like alive, and then more peaceful. So that I would encourage you to make that as a habit in the future. Something I learned from peer and small group discussion. I think I learned pretty good things from the team this quarter. Uh, I share a lot of in common with two of my uh, group responsibility group teammates, and then we talk about how our views on what our future goals, on our attitude towards money, and then on our attitude towards success, and a successful family. I think those are the things you can keep in mind, and then constantly remind yourself how lucky you are, how you have achieved all your goals from last quarter, and then how lucky you are to be where you are right now. And then from the small group discussion, I encourage you to remember the genius exercise. I encourage you to remember how delightful you are to see all these great things people to say have to say about you, and then how you can potentially leverage on these amazing qualities you possess to make yourself a more happier and successful person. Is there any sort of art and media you find is helpful for the material we covered? I think a lot of times just by putting music on your echo, and then by putting music on the way that you drive to school helps you to ease your tension. And then there are several things that are definitely soothing. One is the Chopin piano chord songs, and then the other is the unexpected songs that can keep you more alive. So do more of that, and then watch less television, because that's only gonna solve the problem for the moment, but then not gonna solve them for the future. And then an experiment you want to remind your future self to continue with, I would encourage you to use more of the Calm app. And then there's also a great book in your reservoir called Dealing with the Stress. And then finish that in your spring break or after graduation. I think that's going to be super helpful for you. I would also encourage you to attend meditation retreat if there is something available in the future. And then finally, integrating practice. Was there a concept of practice you want to apply to work school relationships? I think that the concept of imagine someone who you have been difficult with, and then imagine that person background information, sort of like writing a personal story for your acting class. Imagine him have to bring food to the table. Imagine him had a difficult parent or difficult family to deal with, and then which might help to explain the behaviors, and then maybe the attitude he possesses at work. I think that will help you to be more friendly and more empathetic with the co-workers, and then will help you to become a happier person as well. So to sum up, you have done a great job. Keep those in mind, and then see you in a year. Thank you.